A construction project center lives in two environments. One, the one you're seeing right now, is the project center and the website. We have the website works with any web-enabled device, whether that's Wi-Fi or cellular, and you can access it anywhere, in the office, in the field, in the truck, wherever you're at, to get in and do all of your different project work, allowing you to log in through any browser, to create your projects, to work on them, see what's going on with your job costing data, create commitments, create change orders, do your RFIs, submittals, meeting minutes, document access, everything. But we also have an app as well, currently available for the Apple products, the either iPhones or iPads, and that allows you to do some other data as well. And we'll bring up the app here in just a little bit to show you what that looks like for some of the key features that it will work with us on. But before we jump in, just the main piece to note is that Project Center and Sage Bid Management all live within a cloud that you can access wherever you're at. Now, right from the get-go, there's a couple of things that we're going to work on, and that's pre-construction and that's construction. Your jobs, as you create them in Sage Construction Project Center, and by the way, they do tie back into your Sage accounting system, your jobs, as you create them, could be in any of those phases that we just mentioned. If you could be still bidding out to people, you might not be. We can actually copy jobs one from another. So as we go through all the process here, you'll note there's a lot of defaults and things like that that are going to appear on my job. Note that we can copy those. If you want your folder structure, your CSI divisions, or your same project team members that you collaborate with to come from one job to another, it's as simple as selecting a job, copying it, and bringing it over. Now, first thing you have on the job is the ability to store all of your plans and specs and documents and everything else even before the job is started. Again, we're talking about pre-bid or pre-construction phase here. I can store my plans in here, create your folder structure however I want to see that, current plans, architectural, what have you. Within here, I can have it stored in. And as we get revisions as well, we can store in each of the revisions for our documents in here too. We're not limited to just the original and replacing it each and every time. We keep everything saved in here, and you always have access. Now, all these documents are stored in. You can use your favorite opener, product, Adobe or whatever it is to access. But they're not just stored for your own access. You probably have people you collaborate with that you want to be able to log in and look at those documents. You may be using a FTP site today or Dropbox. We want to make it so that you can keep everything on your project within Sage so everyone can have access. And you can do that 100% with this software. Each person is also tracked when they download documents. So if you ever have a question of somebody saying, I never saw that, well, you can actually prove that they did or did not by pulling up some records within the system and tracking their activity. These documents are also stored in such a way that you can actually bid out your plans and reference back these documents right at the pre-construction phase. And once you go past pre-construction into construction, they're still there. This allows you to put in everything that you're storing while you're kind of working on the bid, whether or not you've even got it. And then once you have it, everything's already in the system. I don't have to duplicate any work. I don't have to copy and paste. Everything's stored. And one last piece on document access, note that it is unlimited. You do not have to worry about file sizes or how much data you're putting in there. We give you all the data access that you could ever need. Now, jumping into the bid side, this is our bid management system. You start your bid out by putting in your scope of work, who's responsible, what are the dates, all the pertinent information to make sure that you have your people bidding, knowing that they can actually do it. You can also store in all of the different files that you want them to have access to. Think of attached files down here below. You might send some cover sheets, some quick statements of what the work's going to be, above and beyond the scope that you're initially sending. These documents will email out to your bidders as you send these out so they can verify them, view them, and say, yes, I will bid, yes, I won't bid, or no, I won't bid. But you can also mark down and and give them access to any of those folders that we wanted to, that we just mentioned earlier. You have your architecturals and you have your electrical documents, and these are all things that you might want your bidders to be able to see. And we can set up different bid packages for your different people and your different scopes of work, so that the electrical guys are all looking at the electrical documents and your concrete's looking at concrete, and nobody's really looking at things they shouldn't. We can break that all down. And the main part about this, being able to track all of your different bidders in the system. We do connect back to Sage 300 CRE's address book, and that will then bring in your vendor contacts and any of those subcontractors and people that you work with there. This will let you add those bidders in, search for them by zip code, by CSI code, by lots of different ways, by certifications. We could track, VBEs, WBEs, DBEs, whether or not you wanted to give them some financial rating pieces. You can rate their financials or rate their safeties and be able to pick them based on any of these different things. Bring them into your job or your bid, and from there, send off these bids and say, hey, will you bid on this? Now, those people that are sending this off, they are going to get an email. Actually, let me go ahead and pull up my Gmail account right now, and I'll show you exactly what that email would look like. They'll get an email with all the documents. That's my architect. Let me switch back over. Pull up my subcontractor's email, and they'll get their email saying, here is the invitation to bid. This message will be sent over to them with the scope of the work and everything they need to have access to. Also, any downloads of those documents you want them to access, they'll be right there on the email as well. But as I pointed out earlier, you might have a lot more documents than you want to send on the email because, let's face it, not everyone has an email server that will allow for megabytes of files. They may only allow for a small amount. So you'll give them access to be able to say, I will bid, I might bid, I won't bid, but also give them a link to be able to log into the system with the login you provide them. We actually provide a login right here if they aren't a project member. And that login will then take them to the site, allow them to see all the information. They can reply to the bid right from here. But most importantly, go to those folders, download those files that you want them to have access to so they can make that appropriate decision. And then actually come into the reply to bid section, where they will pull up and say, yes, I will bid on this. Here are my comments and notes. I can upload my file that you can then track on there and save it, and then this will then put me within the system. So your subcontractors and everyone else you're bidding out to can track that information, and then you on your side can see whether or not, yes, they will bid, no, they won't bid, they haven't answered, they're tentative. This is all stuff that you can then pull up at any time, pull up a report, and basically say, show me everyone who is tentative and not answered, and so I can follow up with them with a phone call and say, bids in a couple days, are you planning on doing this, yes or no? You didn't really give me a proper response. Everyone that you put in through this system, it can then be turned into a project member with a couple clicks. And real quick, just note if you have any addendums or messages you want to send to everyone, we can do that through here too. But you go ahead, bid out to everyone, you go through their documents you send, you decide, okay, these are the certain people that I want to have building or working on my project. You say award bidders, and they become project members in your project. It's already added these people. But the idea is you'll then tell them this is a subcontractor, this is a consultant, or anyone else, and then they move on into the main Construction Project Center portion of your software to become full-on project members with the appropriate security and do that. Question came in, does this integrate with address book? And the answer is yes, it does integrate with your Sage 300 address book, correct. You can actually add project members through the main project management or Construction Project Center as well, pulling in anyone who maybe you weren't bidding on, because you could have architects that you want to bring in. You have project assistants. You have your engineers. You have the owner. You can give everyone the appropriate security rights on a job-by-job basis, as this system does allow each job to have its own private security, but we also have templates to allow you to save the time of having to go and create this by scratch every single time. Make things as simple as possible, make it go as quick as possible, but also be as nitty-gritty detailed as you need it to be.